Hello and welcome to the Anahita Speaker Series presented by Carnegie India, celebrating stirring stories of empowerment, struggle and success from women professionals across the globe. Stories we hope are bound to inspire young professionals. I'm Kanika Monga, Senior Coordinator, Partnerships and Strategy at Carnegie India. Today we are delighted to have with us Dr. Joanna Średnicka. Joanna is the co-founder, CEO of Assimilate Team Building Games and Game Changers Academy, and creator of Competence Game, an online platform for assessing skills and competencies. A PhD in social sciences, she has over a decade of experience leading innovative game-based learning and leadership programs. She lectures at top universities in Poland and abroad and is recognized internationally for her work in organizational development and experiential training. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting.
So I'll start off with my first question. You've championed game-based learning and simulation as tools for leadership and team development. How can games reshape the way organizations build their people?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So we use simulation games and all kind of gamified products or services to help organizations and teams in moments of change and transformations. And well, when I think about games, this is a kind of a rehearsal moment for teams to practice and to train before they face real challenges. And it's as innovative as it sounds, it's not as innovative. If you think about chess, one of the oldest strategic games, it has been always used as a training tool for generals, for people in army to practice and to train. And board represents a battlefield. So my idea is that in contemporary world, we just need a little bit different boards because the change is fasting so quickly and a lot. What happens between people in organizations, it's really something to practice. So if you think, if answering your question maybe more precisely, if you think about games, it's how they change, how people learn and how they perform in organizations, you have few applications of simulations. The first and the most, I would say, frequent one is as chess, is games as flight simulators. So something that the pilots do. They practice before they really start piloting a machine. They practice hours and hours in flight simulators. So the same in organizations. Before you start leading people, before you start taking tough decisions, you can practice it. And the games are the great platform for it. But you can also use games, and games are widely used as a research tool, especially in behavior and psychology. You can use game to test some new solutions, some new policies. So we just want to see how people are going to behave if you change the system. Right. You can either try it in real life or you can firstly try it in simulation. And they help to develop different set of skills. So like cognitive skills, you understand better after playing the complex situations in organizations, but you also practice social skills. So how do you react on other people? How do you react on how to negotiate, how to communicate? But you also grow as a person. So it's this something what psychologists call vertical development. So not a new knowledge, not only new skills, but you learn much more about yourself. How in a given situation, before it happens, you probably react and how you behave.
That's very interesting. I never thought of it like that, but it's a good. So as a founder of several ventures, what has been your biggest learning or lessons about innovation and resilience in Poland's startup landscape?
Well, I know quite a lot about my own experience, so I can share. It's not going to work for everyone, but as you mentioned, I started few companies and I'm running a few of them still. So I have 3 lessons. I was thinking before coming, what are my lessons? So the first one that drove me and it's still driving me. So the first one is, I would say, remember about your DNA. So whenever it was a year ago, 5 years ago, or like in my case, 20 years ago when I started my first business. So what really was your driving force, and what forced you to start what you wanted to do. And I'm saying it because on the way you will have a lot of experts, trends, some alternative options, and probably there will be a lot of temptation to do something else or to just be really open for new opportunities, what is good. But it's good from time to time to come back, okay, what is my DNA? And not really follow the trends that sometimes happen. So this is the first one. The second one, I would say, from the very beginning, think about investing in people. And at the very beginning, people normally in startups are you or maybe some other co-founders. So think about your development as well and extending your perspectives. So in our case, for example, even when we were still a tiny startup and we couldn't afford an office, we would hire the best consultants to help us to think about our business, to be our sparring partner, but still remembering about our DNA, because experts, sometimes very experienced, sometimes male experts, tend to tell young women how to run their business, but it's not about this. But we worked with former Volvo GM as our consultant in the very first year of our venture. And I promised the third one that I now forgot if I remember. I will say the third one as well.
Okay. Since you go to many leading universities across Europe, how do you see academia's role in fostering creativity, leadership among students and professionals?
I see a huge potential and need and hope, but in the same time, there is a growing and important discussion going on now in Europe about neoliberal academia and how it does to the academia, the making education a product instead of common good, competition instead cooperation, and the work condition of scholars are becoming worse and worse, and it all is killing slowly the real sense of academia. So the space where immediate efficiency should be the most important thing, where people should have space to really co-create, to think, to have bold ideas, to imagine. So this is the role of academia, if you ask me about the role. But there are a lot of pushbacks, and academia is pushing to be more market-oriented and really very, neoliberal, also marginalizing non-Western perspective. So all of this is being now recognized as a challenge to academia. So now I would say we are in some kind of a tipping point where we have a huge hope, because to solve many problems the world is facing, we need academia. We need this free space of creativity and imagination, but there are a lot of forces killing this spirit. So I have hope, but we need a total shift of paradigm more than just a little reform. So I don't know if it's optimistic or utopian or...
It's an interesting perspective to hear that. Thank you. How has Poland's social and cultural history shaped women? And what do you think, how do Polish women stand out, with respect to the global context?
Well, I think that probably in every country you can say the same, but a special cultural and historical context of Polish society shaped the position of women in Poland. So, to cut it short, for these of the listeners who are not so familiar about Polish history, for many years, for many centuries, nearly 2 centuries, Poland was not existing, and we had a lot of, again, very shortly speaking, a lot of uprisings, a lot of fights, a lot of wars that involved a lot of men. So women quite early, compared to other European states, had to become independent, and they had to take over education, social things, and holding the whole society together. So in 19th, 20th century, we had a lot of women working in different fields, traditionally reserved to men. Like in every family, then the communist times, and in every families you have working women. Like in my family, every women were working, very active professionally. Yeah. So you have this really strong idea that you have to be independent and self-sufficient as a woman and well-educated. But in the same time, you have a huge pressure of being a good mom, a caring mom. That's also my case. So then waiting these true tensions is really a challenge, but I think this is also the real source of strength and resilience of Polish women. We can do whatever is needed. We can take care of the social things, but also to try at least to be good moms.
That's really interesting because I think the Indian perspective is a bit different. Since I've been doing this Anahita Speaker Series for a while, and I think one thing that's really stood out is that I've seen that if from childhood, if your mom has worked or grandmom has worked, it becomes a natural thing. But if not, then it's something that you have to fight for.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear the fact that, Polish women have had a strong work ethic since a long time.
Yeah, when I was a child, like the women that didn't work were considered like she doesn't work. Like it was like, for me, it was not an option not to build my own career.
That's interesting.
But then there is really the strong pressure also for this, strong family life.
Yes.
So then you have both on the shoulders, and the tensions are.
I think that's something that women just have to deal with.
Yeah.
The family, the children, and the careers.
Yeah, and learn to. That was one of my discoveries when I became a mom, relatively not so long time ago. I have 6-year-old twins. So when I became a mom, I realized that you need to rebuild your village to raise your kids. So you need again.
Yes, you need that support system.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful.
And accept vulnerability. So as much as empowered you are and how strong and independent you feel, then you need again become dependent
to raise a child.
That's
That's interesting. So I'll end with our rapid fire round, which is just quick, short answers.
Okay.
What is the most essential skill a 21st century leader must have?
Actually, curiosity.
A game that taught you a real life lesson.
It's tough because I've run so many games and every time I learn something, but what I've learned from every gameplay, I'm learning that good people are making bad things and another way around. So you'll never know if it's the context or it's the person. So be aware and be careful with judging people.
Okay. A woman innovator you admire.
A woman that I admire.
A woman innovator,
Innovator. This one. Maria Skłodowska-Curie, first woman that won Nobel Prize, the first person that won Nobel Prize in 2 domains, the first and ever person that won these 2 domains, and she also raised a daughter who also won Nobel Prize. So Maria Skłodowska-Curie, a Polish woman that was a naturalized French, but she was Polish.
Okay. And coffee or tea during your brainstorming sessions?
Both.
Okay. One word that captures your professional journey.
It's also curiosity, I would
the
say.
last
And
one,
fun.
you can think
Fun.
about it.
It's fun.
Okay. Lovely. I think that's a good word to end on. Thank you so much, Joanna, for coming and spending time with us for the Anahita Speaker Series.
Thank you. Thank you, Benika. Thank you.